Coming up today on Money Makes It Weird, we're talking about gray divorce, getting divorced when you're older. It's something that's been becoming a little bit more of a trend. And why is that? We're not the love gurus, but we are going to talk about it from a money standpoint and how, divorce can make money weird. We're going to dig into that. That's all coming up next. Welcome to this edition of Money Makes It Weird. I am the professional talking head, Matt Hayes, and this professional financial planner right over here.
I'm Chris Fox.
Certifiable financial planner, by the way. Chris Fox with Fox Financial and IPC. Glad to have you here. Chris, it looks like you are all ready to, I know you love getting all biked up and getting out there on the trails. And It looks like you're ready to go already.
Yeah, I totally forgot that we were recording this morning, and so it's a beautiful morning. It was like 15 degrees at like 6:30 this morning, so I'm like, I can't drive. I got to ride my bike.
I love that.
Yeah, and I do have a little bit of an event coming up in like 5 weeks that I'm not very prepared for, so I should get some miles in. Yeah.
There you go. If you're listening in the audio on the audio feed, Chris is all decked out in his biking garb at this point.
Shout out to Hardcore Bikes. That's the logo I'm wearing right now. The best shop in town, bar none. The team is awesome. Like I rolled in there. This is a sidebar. I rolled in there yesterday because I went for a bike ride with my buddy, and I was having some issues with my tire and blah blah blah. So 2 flats later, and a pickup emergency ride from another friend. I take my bike in last night about after 5, and they close at 6, and I wasn't really thinking about it. Sort out what's going on. The stuff I need isn't in-house, so they got to order it in. And Steve, who I was dealing with, lent me some of his tires that I could use until my tires come in. And they're the best shop, and they take care of me.
That's community right there. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So, shout out to Hardcore.
So, you recently were just reading an article you were just telling me about. We want to dig in a little bit today. We do talk about how love and dating and money and divorce and relationships makes money weird and all, but there was a term that I've never heard about, and you heard about for the first time too, called gray divorce. So tell me about this article that you were reading about.
Yeah, so it's referring to couples that are older, 55 plus, and getting divorced, right? And how that is more common. That actual segment is increasing in percentage of those that get divorced versus, the younger, 18 to, I think it was 30 something, that segment is decreasing for divorce rates. So, it was interesting because no one really wants to talk about mom and dad getting divorced, right? Especially when they're older and you're off at university or wherever you are, and kids move out, and you get the phone call from mom or dad saying, so, little family meeting, right? That would be tough. Yeah.
Well, what were the reasons behind this growing trend?
There was such a varied amount of reasons, like approaching retirement and, not having the same alignment on activities or values at that time. Maybe they were staying together because they had common interests, or, things like the kids, getting them through school and that kind of stuff. Maybe long-term animosity, right? For one spouse, maybe doing that emotional or invisible labor that's not recognized, right?
Yeah.
That was in the article. So it's, there's, I guess, lots of varied divorces, just as there's lots of varied couples out there. So
interesting. It's almost as if reasons and things that maybe you would see in couples that maybe like 10, 20 years ago may have still felt the same way, but still stuck around and wouldn't get divorced. But now there's almost like this permission of now you can do it. And maybe there's an increase. Because I can think of some, couples that have some of those feelings, especially some of the animosity and things like that you're talking about, but are definitely still married, and you definitely can feel it, and you're kind of like, I would, if you got that call of, hey, we're getting a divorce, you'd be like, I wouldn't be surprised in any way, shape, or form. But now it sounds as if people almost feel as if there's more permission to be able to do it now.
Yeah, and I think as well, I mean, over the last however many years, women are earning more, right? Are making more financial decisions, and I would suspect that they feel more confident on, leaving, I guess, one spouse or the other, leaving because they can support themselves, right? And they're not going to be dependent on this man, because they have their own career or feel more confident that they can earn money, right?
True. Oh, there is a amazing fact that I believe I think next year or in the next year or two that there's going to be this major shift in wealth in Canada where women will be controlling a much larger amount, if not most, of the wealth in Canada too. We're going to be seeing this huge generational shift. So, I wonder if that has a lot to play with that as well. So that's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the bare bones that women live longer than men, right? So they will, by default, usually have that control. But I think much more greater influence, and women are becoming more interested in the financial planning aspect of their retirement and goal setting and looking after their finances, right? Not just go and get the groceries and pay the utility bills kind of thing.
Right. So that makes sense. So that makes it interesting for conversations, though. You always like to tell me and joke around that people will sit in your office and open up their hearts and souls and tell you about everything that's going on in their lives and all. But you think about some of these couples that especially if they are just become empty nesters, and you imagine that their kids just graduated or in college, or maybe just graduated college, or or in that kind of stage. Maybe the couple's been married for 20, 30 years, still have couple decades still in their lives. They're just starting to get to that that gray age, hence the name. And they started this path imagining a life where they were going to retire together. So they were planning on everything together. They're planning on retirement together. They built this plan together. They started this conversation sitting down with you, and now they're going to be separating and going differently, and now this plan is going to have to change. So let's talk a little bit about that. Everything's going to have to change.
From the money side, the emotional side, to, what does that impact on their retirement? Can they retire?
Yeah.
Can you live in the same house? Do you keep the family home? Does one person keep the family home? And if so, can that person maintain that family home on the income that they're going to have in retirement, right? Taxes and utilities and, maintenance, yard care, all that kind of stuff. And, that's a big, moving in itself is a huge stressor, right? I think it's the second biggest stressor to death and divorce, right? So it's like boom, boom, you're getting divorced and you're moving and everything's changing and your finances are in the air. And, so it's a pretty in-depth conversation to figure out all those moving parts, right? Even down to healthcare, right? If someone had a defined benefit plan and had healthcare coverage in retirement, is that gone now, right? How do you cover that? There's so much. But on the same time, you don't want to just stay together because of the financial benefits, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's wouldn't be worth it.
So let's dig into from the retirement standpoint and from the money side of it. When someone, I know you can't give into specifics about details about certain clients and all, but when you have couples that sit down and they had an original plan, and now they decide to change, and obviously it's going to depend on people's income and depend on how much they've already saved, and there's so many variables and all. But what does that look like? Is it a scary conversation, and does it drastically change then? If they were saying, "Hey, I really was thinking I was going to retire when I was 65 and all," are they able to really make it up, or are they going to really have to drastically change and maybe have to put that retirement off?
Yeah.
What is that like?
It depends on the scale of wealth of the family unit, but
Yeah.
for sure things are going to change. It's not going to be as easy as it was with two people, right? I think I'm just trying to remember what the stat was, is that it costs, it's not a 50-50 division in expenses, once you're divorced, it's going to cost you 60 or 65% versus 50%, right? So everything's going to cost more on your own. So everything has to go back to scratch, right? You got to go, okay, what are the assets that you'll end up with? And of course, you're not doing this with the couple, right?
Right.
It's one person telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
And in my experience, either one or both of those clients will most often find another advisor, right?
Yeah.
Because there's we talk to you together as a unit, and we like you, but we're doing everything different now. New home.
Yeah.
If they're not moving, cities or provinces, right? Like there's just everything's starting from scratch. So.
Yeah.
What's that income going to look like? Is there pension splitting? What's the assets that are being divided? Where are you living? What's your cost of living now? And that probably is not going to be at the same level you were at as a couple.
Yeah.
Right? So everything, you're starting from scratch, really.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have, you're 55 and you plan on retiring at 65. 10 years isn't a lot of time to make that up, right? So maybe there is either you're decreasing your lifestyle from a money perspective, or you're working longer, right?
Yeah.
And the older you are, if you are retired, it even can look even more daunting, right?
Yeah.
So,
I can imagine.
I think when you're retired, and if this is something that's happening, I think because of the maturity, those clients would probably, or those people would probably give it a lot of thought and have a plan, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone, well, not in my experience, would anyone just willy-nilly, that's it, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'll figure out the dust when it settles. I mean, I think most people would probably think through that quite a bit, right?
Yeah. Well, it also depend when you're splitting up, when you're talking about pensions and different type of retirement plans, each one is going to be different, and depending on people's plans and how things are set up. Does it also then vary and depend on what the market currently is like then too, when things are split up? Does that then vary, when you have, some things are going to be split up, if things are up or down, then does that affect the plan and what happens at that moment then? What is that like? Talk to me about that.
Well, because it's such an emotional time, let's say the real estate market's down and you don't want to sell the family home because it's off, whatever, 10% or something.
Right.
And in the bigger markets like Toronto or Vancouver, that can be a ton of money, or even Calgary. So do you wait to sell the home for that market to come back? Is that a year?
Yeah.
Is that a year and a half? Can you handle that? I mean, I was just hearing of a client was telling me about his son, who was in his 30s, getting divorced, and so younger couple, and they are living in the same house because they can't afford to live on their own in the same neighborhood or in the same area and have their kids go to the same school.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've actually heard that here too, and everyone has a different relationship, but I think with the younger people, they're like, yeah, I'll live in the basement.
Yeah.
I'll be responsible for the kids, same kind of division, whether it's a week on, week off, or whatever the agreement is. And we'll do this for X amount of time.
Right.
If you can do it, great. But I can't imagine that. Right? Like
on what date do you mention that when you're like, how do you put that in your Tinder profile?
I'm not living with my parents, but maybe you are when you leave that situation.
Yeah.
Because this specific client was saying, yeah, I'm probably going to have my son move back in, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not living with my parents, but I am living in the same house as my ex-wife. So let's
Yeah.
go to your place.
Yeah. I'm going to sneak you into my old house, and we have to be quiet so my ex-wife doesn't hear us. We'll sneak into the basement. Yeah, that's really comfortable. Yeah, that's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
For older couples, the gray divorce kind of topic,
Yeah.
their time horizon isn't as long, right? So,
Right.
if you're 60, to make up that money to support your lifestyle, you don't have as much time. But also, considering that people are living longer, right? So if you're 60, you might live till 90. That's not unrealistic. 85, 90, so you got 25, 30 years ahead of you with a limited, amount of time to make up that difference. Or you work longer. Or, you're changing your life drastically, I guess. But
right. Yeah. Plus also too, I mean, there's still things that can happen even after once that happens then too, because then you might still meet someone at that point in too, and then that changes it because there might be that income that comes in as well. And I mean, there's so many different variables that can happen that way. And, that must be such an, when you're doing retirement planning, it almost feels as if you have to kind of have an asterisk of, yes, this is what you're planning for, but life can still throw a curveball at you.
There should be the big asterisks after every financial plan's done, right? This is a projection. This is we're using all these metrics that can change. Your market values can change, inflation can change. Time horizons can change. Your risk tolerance
life can change.
Life will change.
Yes.
So this perfect looking graph that shows everything's green and rosy needs to be reviewed every year for sure. And especially when something big happens. Whether it be a kid, a new kid, or a change in health, or a big one like divorce, right? So
I deal with that with my mom, and my father passed away, 9 years ago, and that changed the entire retirement. That changed the retirement plan, and I'm sorry that happened, but the plan changed, so the numbers changed, and I mean, we're okay. It's not as if it's a problem, but it does change some factors with that, and we just have to be careful in different ways than what we were originally planning for, and the market is a little different than what we originally planned for before, so we just adjust, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine, but you just have to plan a little differently than what we originally planned, than what Dad originally planned for 20 years ago, and that's okay. But you just have to have still those conversations and be able to adjust. So
there's so many things to check off on the list, right? Of things to consider, things to do, not just tell the kids and split the assets, right? Like there's there's lots.
So speaking of, I know you've been starting to work on a divorce checklist. So we're going to start putting some things together and have a proper divorce checklist that we're going to make available online. And that if you'd like some more information or you're going through this, you'll be able to go to foxfinancial.ca and reach out to Chris and his team and get some. But, what are some of these points and things that you are started to work through that people should be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, like the things we've talked about, what's the income going to look like? What assets are being split? Is there pension involved, like CPP and OAS? Is that being split? CPP being split. Is there a defined benefit plan being split? Or RSP or RIF accounts, all TFS, all that kind of stuff. What's that going to look like? That's kind of the big stuff. Estate planning will change. Beneficiaries will change.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, there's a ton. But I mean, starting off about the retirement feasibility and the timing of that, I think is the first thing. Right?
Yeah.
The number one kind of starting point, I guess.
No, and knowing where you want your life to be and where what it looks like going forward.
And you may not know. That's the big unknown. I mean, I think I mentioned before that I was divorced when I was young.
Right.
And you don't, you're just blown away. And you have no idea because you were making all these plans and now it's blank. Like, you can't see the future at that point.
Yeah.
And, you know, after time, that becomes exciting when you're like, oh, let's take advantage of that. But there's a big process to get there.
Right.
And usually that's a fair amount of time, right?
Right.
So, yeah. Unless you're the party that's leaving and it's been planning it for 5 years.
You've been laying in bed looking at your partner going, I can't wait to get away from you, and you're closing your eyes and you're dreaming about that life, then maybe you've been preparing
maybe it's time.
for it. Then
I think if
you're ready to go at that point, then it's ready to call Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, you call the
Call
divorce attorney first.
Exactly.
Call the lawyer first, and then
or
you
mediator.
call Chris. So.
Mediator can work too. Yeah.
Whatever you have to do. So
maybe talk to your spouse. Yes.
Talk to them first before.
Right?
Yeah. Again, we are not the love experts in any way, short for this in any way, shape, or form. So
we could probably write a movie though, a Hollywood blockbuster, hey?
Probably.
Dad goes out for a pack of smokes and Mom moves out. The apartment's empty. She left me one spoon, one cup, and one bowl.
I don't know if you want me right in that. I had lunch 2 days ago with a friend of mine who 45 years old, has stage 4 colon cancer. Really sad story. 50-50 chance. And as one of our fun things that we were joking, he said his kids were saying, so do we get a new daddy? And we were joking about his, I know his wife very well. I'm old friends with them. And we were joking. He was like, you should start dating, just get ahead. I'm like, that would be kind of a fun reality TV show of like, hi, I'm dying from cancer. And, my wife's dating and I'm here to help pick out her new husband. I'm like, and we're both like, we could sell that TV show actually in today's day and age.
Fox will pick it up.
We could sell that TV show in today's day and age. So again, do not ask me for any love and dating advice. That is what I sell. So, yeah. So
or it could be a country song.
It could be. I know we could put that into an AI and make a country song out of that, and it could be a hit, actually.
I like it.
I'm going to try that. All right. So if you want actual professional advice when it comes to your finances and you're in this type of situation, or if you are kind of at that point and you're looking for a checklist and all this information, you can get a hold of Chris. Chris, where can they find you and reach out to get more info?
I'm in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta. You can find me at www.foxfinancial.ca.
That's where you can find all that great information, and we'll be putting up some more helpful information up there over the coming weeks, so you can get that as well. That's also where you can find out more information about the podcast. You can find links to wherever you get your podcasts. We'll have all that stuff up there as well. So, and with more info about future podcast episodes coming up as well. So, Mr. Fox, go jump on that bike and go get some more miles, get some more kilometers. That's the American in me.
Well, it's funny because we just call it miles, right?
Go get on that bike. Go get on that bike. Get that on in. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.
Trademarks owned by Investment Planning Council Incorporated and licensed to its subsidiary corporations. Investment Planning Council is a fully integrated wealth management company. Mutual funds available through IPC Investment Corporation and IPC Securities Corporation. Securities available through IPC Securities Corporation, a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Insurance products available through Chris Fox.